I had given Kenny about $1 million into this. He gave me my $1 million back, and every month I still get about $10,000 a month cash flow from this property. So I have zero money into it. You see, the beauty about real estate is you learn to use debt to get rich. I'll give you another tip. If you're going to be rich, you have to learn to use debt. It's called other people's money. When we talk about IQ, financial IQ, when it comes to return on investment, a thing called ROI, what's my return? On savings today, maybe about 3%. Mutual funds, if you're lucky, 8%. That's before tax. What Kenny MacGregor and I talk about is a return of infinite return with zero risk. So get this, that to me is high IQ. So we have an infinite return with zero risk. And most financial experts, on CNBC and Fox and all that, and you can't do that. So I do all these types of options in real estate, and even right now I'm buying 6 units off the plans. The buildings aren't even built yet, but I'm putting an option down in 3 years, hopefully, and this is called speculation, not investing, because I'm speculating the price will go up. The option just assures me that a certain price today, and I'm betting that the price will be higher in the future. I had given Kenny about $1 million into this. He gave me my $1 million back, and every month I still get about $10,000 a month cash flow from this property. So I have zero money into it. This $1 million he gave back to me, how much was that taxed at?
Zero. It's a refinance.
You see, when you borrow money, it's a loan, it's zero. So I got $1 million when these people are complaining about capital gains taxes and all this. I got my $1 million back, tax-free, plus I still get about $120,000 a year cash flow. And the property just keeps throwing cash forever. So our risk is almost zero.
Well, at this point, we have zero invested in the property, and it produces cash flow. And the interesting thing is we can do this again.
And again, and we have done it again.
Yeah.
We do it constantly. We have thousands of these units. And right now we're in the middle of a big subprime mess. Is this slowing us down?
No, because now the property, of course, is more higher occupied, and the rents are going up again, and it's pushing this value up again. In fact, we had an offer on the property for a little over $20 million to buy it, and we decided not to sell it because we want, of course, to refinance again and pull more money out.
And if we sold it, we have to pay the tax.
Right. And our ownership position's the same as it was. The only difference is we don't have an investment in it.
Right.
And that's when Robert's now getting his $120,000 a year in return, he gets that with zero investment.
So that's why we started this whole thing here on an infinite return, very, very low, zero risk. I don't have any money in it. It now belongs to the bank, technically.
Yeah, the bank is your friend.
So this is an example of high financial IQ, extremely high returns, zero taxes legally, and very low risk. You see, the beauty about real estate is you learn to use debt to get rich. I'll give you another tip. If you're going to be rich, you have to learn to use debt. It's called other people's money. So when I hear poor people say to me, I don't have any money, I said, because you're an idiot. That's why. You're not supposed to use your money. You're supposed to use other people's money. But that's debt. I don't want to do that. And so they stay poor.
Well, it's very simple. I went through engineering school. I spent 8 years at university getting a PhD. And at the end of that time, I was offered a job at $32,000 a year, which in those days was a pretty handsome salary. However, unbeknown to my prospective employer, the week before I had just done a real estate deal that netted me $35,000. And I remember thinking to myself, why would anyone in their right mind work for 40 hours a week for 50 weeks of the year for $32,000 when in 1 week you can make $35,000? And I decided there and then to get into real estate, and I've never had a job.
So you would highly recommend real estate as an excellent form of investing?
Well, I'm very biased, but I think it's the best. I think there's nothing better, and I have specific reasons why I think that.
So in this program, we're going to show people how simple it is, right?
Right.
I mean, doesn't it surprise you that everybody's not doing it?
When you know how simple it is, it's astounding that people don't get up and look for a deal. They'd rather sit in front of the TV and watch other people's creations than make their own.
Or even worse, I watch people sitting in front of television sets watching the stock market go up and stock market going down and up, and that's horrible.
Right.
The only thing that Dolph and I have is we have cash flow. I mean, checks every month, money flowing in, right?
Right, and on top of that, the assets that generate those cash flows keep on going up.
Right. So there's 4 great advantages to real estate as an investment. Number 1 is you have income every month, which means you can soon quit your job if you want to. Number 2 is that you have tax advantages. You know, there's so many tax advantages too. Number 3 is you have depreciation,
Right.
which is another form of tax advantage. And number 4 is you have capital gains. So you have money coming in, government's giving all these bonuses.
Right.
You have all these gains that are somewhat tax-free, and on top of all that is the banker will lend you money for real estate. Is that correct?
That's one of the big fundamental differences. In fact, imagine going to a bank manager and saying, Mr. Bank Manager, I believe antiques are a good investment, and paintings, and platinum, and gold, and stocks, and mutual funds, and certificates of deposits, and treasury bills. Would you please lend me the money so that I may invest in these things? He will laugh you out of his office.
That's right. They may lend you money on you, but they won't lend you money on the stock or mutual funds simply because they're too risky.
They're too risky.
That should tell you something.
Right, it tells you 2 things. Firstly, you don't need the money to buy real estate. And secondly, it's about the safest thing there is to invest in.
Right. If it wasn't safe, a banker wouldn't give you the money.
Right.
So it's a fabulous way of, you know, finding financial stability and a financial brightness for your future.
How accessible really is real estate investing to the average Joe investor that wants to get away from the mainstream?
It's always the same thing, is that real estate is the best investment of all. There's 2 reasons why real estate's the best investment, time-honored, but you gotta be smart at it. The number 1 reason for real estate is debt. You know, who else is gonna give you money to buy? You know, they don't give you money to start a business, or they don't give you money to invest in oil, but they give you money to buy real estate. So debt is the key. Debt makes the rich richer. And secondly, taxes make the rich richer. So when I buy real estate, it is the last investment where I can make millions of dollars and pay 0 tax legally. So the irony of it is these guys who are investing in the stock market, they don't really have any advantages for debt. There's some little bit, and they have no real tax advantages. That's stupid. So I don't care what you say about good markets or bad markets, good real estate, bad real estate. Real estate is the last great investment. Number 1 for debt, number 2 for taxes. Infinite return with 0 risk.
At this point, we have 0 invested in the property.
Is you learn to use debt to get rich. Real estate is an excellent form of investing. And they have no real tax advantages. That's stupid.